Hello everybody, my name is Chase Britton. This is another episode of USWL Live. Our first episode kind of took a real big toll, I guess you can say. People started tuning in, people started, talking to me about, what our product was, and, people like the Jacob Ryan topic. But today's topic is something kind of promotional related. Now, if you're a promoter and you run a town, you're going to relate to what I got to say. You're going to possibly think about a couple things, and I'm going to tell you guys my side of the story, or my side of what I believe in with this topic. Now, let's go with a little bit of an example with Maryville, Tennessee. You have the XIWA or something like that. I'm not really for sure with the promotion names. I tend to just follow myself on most days. I ain't going to lie to you. But then you also got the RWA ran by Chris Hensley in Maryville, Tennessee as well. Not the one in North Carolina, but the RWA in Maryville, Tennessee. Now, here's my take on this. Now, both promotions happen to be my friend. Now, they don't like running in the same town with one another. One guy has ran there before the other one, and just to say the least, they're very territorial. Now, being a promoter, I can relate. I have somebody in my town as well. It took me a while to actually get to where I have to be, and not going to point no names to nobody, but let's just be honest. They didn't really draw the same crowd that I did. But my question is very, very simple. If you were running a town and somebody else comes in on your town, would that harm your promotion? If you was to draw 200 people, 300 people, but yet somebody else came in and maybe drew about 20, about 30, maybe 40, 50, would you take offense to that? Saying that you are the one that, got this town where it's supposed to be and everything else? Because you have to think about different sides of every story. Now, I'm not going to lie to nobody. I got offended. I got offended because, Greenville, Tennessee is where I pretty much called my home. I was born there. I was raised there. So therefore, to me, that was my hometown. When said person came in, it was actually to put me out. So I have an excuse in my mind. Now, then I had to rethink on a couple things. I'm not going to run every month, every week, or every day. My fans want to see wrestling. If I can't give them that, then they're going to go elsewhere. That's just the nature of the beast. At first, I took offense to it, and then afterwards, I'm just like, you know what, man? Do your thing. Now, that's just me. That's just who I am. That's just me. Me and Brian Logan, we have our differences. We have our heat. But in the same aspect, I respect him on a business level. The guy knows what he's doing. The guy has the money that I don't. And he's trying his best to make do of what he has. Now, I'm not going to go and make contracts to my guys to do what he's doing, but what he's doing is working. So therefore, it's my job to respect it. But let's say the other company isn't a Brian Logan type of person. They're just a company like you. Everybody wants to claim their territory. If there's 2, or if there's 3, if there's 4 promotions in a town, I can understand. Somebody's going to get mad somewhere. And you can't blame the other promotion for getting mad. But the fans want to see the wrestling. They want to see something in their town. They're tired of sitting around. Nowadays, if you don't have a weekly product or a monthly product, they're going to venture elsewhere. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because the truth is, this isn't the 80s. This isn't the 70s. Territory days is pretty much long gone. And it's sad, to say the least. But it's just something that needs to be brought back. For instance, I want to run Morristown, Tennessee, but you know what? I don't, because I have an agreement with Mr. J over there at ICWA, and I respect him, and, it's just one of those things. I don't run the same night as him. There has to be some common ground. If your fans want to see wrestling, then they're going to see it. If you're not running every week, then they're going to pay another man's ticket. That's just how it is. Now, I don't care if they draw 100, 200, and the other one draws 30 or 40 or something like that. The fans are getting what they want. They're seeing a wrestling event. Should we get mad at that? Should we? I mean, at some point you have to think about the fans. You can't think about your product 100% of the time. You have to think about, what is this other show doing to bring in my fans? How come my fans are going there? What do they got that I don't? And that's something that I learned along the way, that you can't please everybody. And to me, I guess that's a little bit hard to say for me, because I'm a perfectionist. I like doing everything my way. And sometimes it just can't be like that. But in my honest opinion, Mike Goins and his guys in Maryville, they have a good, talented roster. They have a good fan base. In my honest opinion, Chris Hensley and RWA, they have a really good roster. I don't care who you are. If you have Menace, if you have the Gymnasties, if you have guys like Matt Gilbert, and Mike Cobb, and all those other guys like that, you're going to have a good roster. It doesn't matter. Both of these promotions are good. And in my town, I'm going to pick on myself. You got Mikey. You got, Duke the Dumpster Droizy. You have myself. You have Victor Andrews. And then for Brian Logan, you got guys like Eric Darkstorm, Will Huckabee, Daggett Bundles, and David Anthony, and so on and so on. They're good talent. Any way you go, there is good talent. I'm not going to get mad. And I don't think anybody else should too, because now if it was, talent that, free talent, then you know what, that'll be different. But the fans are getting good wrestling. So in my honest opinion, I honestly do not think that people should be getting mad. Now, that's only and only if the product is just as good as the one across the street. Because if they're getting good wrestling, that's going to help you out. Because if they see bad wrestling, they're going to think every show is going to be bad, and they are not going to want to come and see you. So yes, I thank Brian Logan for bringing good talent to Greenville, Tennessee, because that's going to help me out in the end. I don't care what anybody says. If they're seeing good wrestlers, good matches, that's going to change the atmosphere of that town. Who knows? It may end up being a hotbed. That's going to help out my wallet. That's going to help out my guys' wallet. That's going to help out their wallet. And at the end of the day, man, wrestling is what we're all shooting for. Good wrestling is what we're all shooting for. If someone has good wrestling, support that. Support your other indie wrestlers. And I don't care if they're right across the street from you. If they're not running the same night, support it. Now, not everybody is going to feel the same way. Not everybody is going to have the same opinions, the same outcome of what I just said. And that is totally fine. There is nothing wrong with a little competition. So if you're listening to this and you take a little bit of offense to what I'm saying, just compete. Worry about your own product is what people's been telling me. And you know what? That's been the best thing that I have done here in the past 2 months, is just worry about my own stuff. Maryville has a really good duo right now of promotions. Greenville has a really good duo of promotions. In different aspects. You can even look at Knoxville or Chattanooga or somewhere like that. They all have really good promotions attached to them. If you want to go further, go to Marmet, West Virginia. Mega is a really good people. It doesn't matter if they're AIWF. It doesn't matter if they're WFS. It doesn't matter if they're USWL. If they're good wrestling, support it. There is nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. But that's just my opinion on that. Not everybody's going to have the same. I learned that the hard way. But on the second episode, I want to thank everybody for tuning in just to see what we have to say. I want to thank our sponsors, the Beard Guy and Friends of Greenville, Tennessee. I want to thank Deb Turney of Hempworx in Greenville, Tennessee. I want to thank Bearland in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I want to thank Brittons of Sevierville, Tennessee, Muddy Promotions, which is a network. I want to thank all of you guys for hopping on board. If you are interested in getting your promotion across and you want it mentioned on this podcast, do so. Do it. I don't care who you are or what you are. I will promote it for you. Let's start spreading the news on good wrestling. Let's all have a little fun with this. I'm your host, Chase Britton, and this is another episode of USWL Live. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you back here tomorrow night.